Remember your Creator in the days of your youth. A genial welcome to my dear beloved students. Today we are going to discuss the 4 marks and 6 mark, that is second and the third main from the lesson Everything I Need to Learn from Forest, written by Vandana Shiva. I'm trying to convey a message that children, you don't need to by heart anything. Just remember the key points and elaborate. And that is the valuable tip I wanted to give in this session. So let us see the first question, features of Chipko movement. What features of Chipko movement does author highlight? So here I have divided in this into 4 or 5 key points. You are going to write in a paragraph about 80 to 100. When you write for 4 markers, the answer must be in one paragraph itself. That is the first thing you have to note. So before writing the answer, once you get this question, you have to recollect 5 points in your mind, because it is 4 markers. For that you have to write at least 5 points. So here, the features of Chipko movement. So first point you have to write about Vandana Shiva, who knew the real value of forest. And what is the value of forest? It is not only gives timber, but water, food and fuel. And the second point is writing about Chipko movement. And Chipko movement highlighting about Bachni Devi and her volunteers who protested against her own husband and the forest conservator, educated people in the broad day, protested against by lighting a lamp in the broad daylight, and told the authorities that they are blind to destroy the forest. And they taught indeed the value of forest, and they proclaimed according to their capacity by singing songs about the usefulness of forest. So let us divide it into 4 points. First is Vandana Shiva tells us that woman knew the value of forest, and you have to write the value of forest. Then second point is Chipko movement highlighting Bachni Devi and how she protested against her husband and the educated forest conservators, and giving a moral telling that not to destroy the forest. And they proclaimed or they sang a song about the usefulness of forest. So I hope this is clearly understood by you all. That is, instead of by hearting the entire thing, features of Chipko movement, once again I'm stressing it, is the value of forest, Chipko movement, highlighting about the Chipko movement in 3 points, and you are telling that how this woman protested against the forest conservator, and they sang song about the usefulness of forest. So whatever question you are going to learn, once you read the question, you have to make note of 4 key points or 4 or 5 key points, and you have to elaborate it. The second question, why it is important to promote biodiversity intensive farming. So here let us divide into 4 or 5 key points. The first is the knowledge to protect biodiversity. Who learned? Vandana Shiva learned. Why? What is the need of need to learn about biodiversity? And she she started a farm, Navadanya farm, and you have to explain about the Navadanya farm. And the third point is biodiversity helped in growing more quantity and nutritious food, and it was an answer for hunger, starvation and malnutrition. So I think it is clear for you the importance of to promote biodiversity into 4 key points, that is knowledge to protect the biodiversity, and she started Navadanya farm, explaining about Navadanya farm, and biodiversity helped in growing more quantity and nutritious. Then it was an answer for starvation and malnutrition. So if you learn this 4 key point, that is enough. The third question, what does the idea of Earth University convey? The Earth University conveys the idea of democracy. So first point, and you have to think, what do you mean by democracy? Democracy means freedom for all, and freedom combines with responsibility and to recognize, protect and respect the rights of the species. Then democracy stands different from the other university because it is not it is not about any other thing, but it is learning about the natural surrounding, where Navadanya, where participants work with seeds and soil and web of life. Why it is different? Because the participants work with seed, soil and the web of life. And who are the people working in Earth University? They are farmers, school children, and those who are interested in organic farming. So, how we are going to categorize into 4 points is that Navadanya farm, earth democracy, and this university is different because it teaches, it's about natural surrounding where the participants work with seed, soil and web of life. And the last point is that who are the participants? Farmers, school children and other interested people. So the 4 key points is over. The next is the 4th question. The conservation of biodiversity is the answer to the food and nutritious crisis. This is very important question. Most of the exam, I think 5 times it has appeared in the board paper. So here the first line, you can learn this and you can use it is as for the 6 markers also as an introduction. This is from the essay Everything I Need to Know I Learned in the Forest. It's internationally renowned activist biodiversity against the corporate globalization. This you can use for the 6 markers also. This line serves as an introduction. Then coming to our answer, conservation of biodiversity is the key of solving the problem of food and nutritious crisis. So when you write this answer, underline the point food and nutritious crisis. As I told you in the other three questions, when you write the key points, if you underline, that will give a highlight for your answer and it will help you to score good marks. So here the first key point is what? The conservation of biodiversity, solving the problem of food and nutritious. The next point is key point is monoculture, that cause impoverishment of nature and culture. And here Vandana Shiva realized the importance of biodiversity and talking about Navadanya farm and what she did. Then last point is that they promote biodiversity intensive form of farming that produce food and nutrition per acre, and a transition from fossil fuel to chemical based monoculture to biodiverse ecological system nourished by sun and soil. So once again I am summarizing. You can omit the first line. This you can use for your 6 markers. The conservation. So first key point is the biodiversity is the key solving for food and nutrition. Next is monoculture causes impoverishment for nature and culture. Then the third point is about Navadanya farm, and the 4th point is about the transition from fossil fuel and chemical based monoculture to biodiverse ecological system nourished by sun and soil. This is how the conservation of biodiversity is the need of the hour. It's a very important question. So key points please remember in your mind, and when you write these key points please underline, and it must be free from spelling mistakes. Next question, the last question what we are going to discuss today. What does the idea of Earth University convey and how it is different from other university? In the third question already we have discussed how it is different. So let us see. Vandana Shiva is a globally acknowledged this the same thing. This is the first thing you can use for your introduction. Acknowledged. Vandana Shiva is a globally acknowledged, notable of his biodiversity based living economics. In her essay, I need everything I need to know, she stresses the need of biodiversity intensive form of farming. For the one markers also, you can answer in this essay what she stresses. The answer is biodiversity intensive form of farming. And why this lesson is very important? It is very important because it is the need for our means it is very much needed in this present situation. The question is the idea of Earth University convey. So from where she got the idea? She got the idea from Rabindranath Tagore. And in Earth democracy, it means what? Freedom. Just think about your democracy, freedom for all, and freedom with responsibility. If you have freedom, you have responsibility, and it is you have to understand human must recognize, protect, and respect the other rights of other species. The Earth democracy shift from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism. So first key point what you wanted to write is Earth University is inspired by Rabindranath Tagore. And Earth democracy teaches freedom for everybody. And if you have freedom, it is your responsibility to protect and respect the other rights of other species. Then it is a shift from anthropocentrism. Anthropocentrism means where human beings are the center, to ecocentrism. Now not the human beings but Earth as the center. And Navadanya farm. And here now in this Navadanya farm, farmers are participants are farmers, school children, and people across the world to work with the living seeds, living soil, and the web of life. So this is the very important point in Navadanya farm. Who is the participant? Farmers, school children, and people across the world who love to work with the living seed. Instead of human being, living seed, living soil, and the web of life. So if you learn this answer, you can answer 3 questions. So once again, the key point, Rabindranath Tagore, Earth University is inspired by Rabindranath Tagore, and Earth democracy means freedom for everybody. And if you have freedom, it is your responsibility to protect, recognize, and respect other species. And the very important point is anthropocentrism to ecocentrism, where human beings at the center is changed to now Earth as the center, and the participants are school children, people, and those who love to work with the seeds, living soil, and web of life. Now let us go through the last question, that comprehension 3, which carries 6 marks. As I told you, from the 3rd and 5th question, you can write the introduction. That 2 lines you can join and make it as introduction. And this, when you write this 3rd main, it has to be at least 4 paragraph. You have to write in 4 paragraph. So let us go through this question. Conservation of diversity. So since it is put in the inverted comma, you have to quote the same way. It will give an impression for the evaluator. Biodiversity conservation is important. Why? Because the population is growing, no food, so it is very important. And by conserving diversity, we ensure continuous supply. Conserving means, if you protect means what is the thing? Continuous supply of basic need of living beings. Understood? There won't be any shortage if you conserve biodiversity, food, water, and shelter. And if it is not conserved, what happen? Natural calamities will occur, and it creates destruction of forest, soil erosion will happen, and it can cause great damage to human, wildlife, and their properties. So it is very important. Conservation is very important, and otherwise it will be a threat for the human beings itself. So first paragraph, what are the key points you have to remember is biodiversity conservation. For what? For why we are conserving? Because it gives unending supply of food, and if we are not conserving, what happen? Natural calamity and destruction of human and life properties, human beings and the wildlife. So first paragraph clear, no? First you have to write about conservation, and if the conservation is not done, what happened, and what will be the consequence. So 3 points in the first paragraph. The second paragraph, lack of forest will lead to wildlife to the cities in search of food. And in case if there is a shortage of lack of forest, if human beings are converting the forest area for industrial purpose, what happen? The animal will come and overpower, come to cities for their food. Forest cover important for causing range. Rains bring water to nurture forest and living being. With enough water, we can grow enough food and for our growing population. And if lack of forest, one thing happen, that there will be lack of rain. And if there is no rain, no food supply for human beings. So second paragraph speaks about the what will be the consequence if we are utilizing forest area. So third paragraph speaks about organic farming. So conservation of biodiversity of organic farming. How is the what is biodiversity and organic farming? Natural manure like cow dung, decomposed vegetation, etc. Then fourth paragraph, organic farming promotes and increase the number of livestock and free manure. See, even the number of cow herds increases, so free manure, no need of using chemical based manure. By organic farming, there will be less wastage of raw material. The importance is that no pollution and less wastage of raw materials, less pollution, more nutrition. So advantages in the fourth paragraph, we are speaking about of advantages of organic farming: less pollution, more nutrition, and increase of health, and conserve natural resources. It will promote cooperation and peaceful coexistence of human beings and all other creatures. Now I am going to sum up all the 4 paragraphs at a short. The first thing I have told is you are going to write 2 lines from the answer 3 and 5. That will serve as an introduction. And second paragraph speaks about biodiversity and conserving biodiversity, what is the advantage. Then second paragraph speaks about if you are not protecting the forest area, what will happen. Third paragraph speaks about organic farming, and fourth paragraph speaks about the advantages of organic farming. So I hope it is 6 markers is clear. Within a minute time you have synchronized or you have written your answer in order to get 6 mark. I hope this video helped you to organize your answer for the second main 4 markers and the 6 markers. If you like the video, please like it, share and subscribe it.